Very good. Okay, next true or false question. Ready for it?
Absolutely.
All right. The advanced control algorithms which you just mentioned, that optimize nutrient feeds and environmental conditions in continuous operations. Oh boy, we're missing part of that question. Does it take advanced control algorithms to optimize nutrient feeds and environmental conditions in continuous operations?
Well, to say the least, continuous operations are complex, and it often takes quite sophisticated algorithms or modeling approaches, or we talk a lot about digital twins. Definitely, it can very quickly get very complicated, and especially if you're using predictive modeling, it's not just a plug and play thing. Oftentimes, you have to invest heavily in the development of your digital twin in the model, so that you are making meaningful decisions. And also in distinction, especially in the continuous environment, you often have runs that are running for an extended period of time. In a fed batch environment, 12 days, maybe 14 days. But in a continuous environment, oftentimes you go over 20 days or sometimes even 40 days. And that's quite a different ballgame and has much more, it has a much bigger impact on what kind of algorithms and systems that you're using.
Yeah. You mentioned digital twins, and by the way, digital twins and mechanistic modeling were the subject of a previous Bioprocess Online live event that we hosted, I think just a couple of months ago. So if you're joining us now and interested in going a little bit deeper on those technologies, if you visit bioprocessonline.com and go under the Listen and Watch tab, you can see the entire library of our Bioprocess Online live events. And there's a really great discussion on digital twins and mechanistic modeling that just happened a couple months ago. And I'm curious about your experience there, David, in your consultancy and your experience talking with peers and colleagues in this space. Are you seeing like pretty frequent adoption of digital twins and or increasing adoption of those technologies, mechanistic modeling and digital twins, in sort of the rationalization for continuous processing?
There's definitely a trend towards the adoption of digital twins and modeling. There is no doubt there's a big increase, whether it's continuous processing or even fed batch, but definitely a lot of people are now leveraging these technologies and are seeing the added value of going onto digital twins. What I'm seeing is the closer or the bigger companies get, the more likely they're adopting these digital technologies. We're also speaking to a lot of small and mid-sized companies who are perhaps more in early clinics or phase 2, phase 3. There, I would say it's still less pronounced, and yet now with all the disruption happening with modeling, with AI, pretty much every day we have new technologies, and actually at the discount price, definitely more and more companies want to catch the train and leverage modeling. Just to give you one example, in certain cases you're able to skip up to 80% of the experiments if you're using hybrid modeling, for instance, the right way. That's quite a time saving and cost saving for a company.
Yeah. A question just came in from Alejandro while we're talking about this. He says, we've got continuous operations. How can we integrate real-time data analytics to improve decision-making? Any thoughts on that, David?
Yeah, that's an excellent question. Thank you for asking this question. Well, there are different ways, but I would say what I usually advise is a step-by-step process to first analyze where you have the biggest impact with perhaps the least amount of effort. And I would say also, to give you some nuance to this question, it depends on what expertise you already have in-house. Whether you're just starting out and discovering these digital technologies or real-time data analytics, or whether you have experienced people or you even have data scientists inside your company. I think this will definitely then depend on how much and how fast you will integrate real-time data analytics. But I would say start with where you have the biggest impact, probably for the least amount of risk and money, and start there, and then gain expertise. And as you go, you will see other areas where you can implement real-time data analytics.